Sure. Well, good morning. I'm Lori Sullivan, Director of Operations at STARability Foundation, and I'd like to thank you for joining us today. We are very pleased to offer this webinar series on Social Security benefits in partnership with IAS, LLC. Today's webinar will focus on SSI benefits for adults 23 and older. Before we get started, I'd like to mention a few housekeeping items. You'll notice we are muting everyone's mics to avoid background noise. We'll have plenty of time for questions at the end of the presentation and ask that you hold questions until then. However, you're welcome to submit them through chat in the meantime so that you don't forget your question. Finally, we will be recording today's webinar and we'll share the link later this week or early next week. If you are new to STARability, our mission is to transform the lives of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We serve over 340 participants, both in person and online, through our life-enriching programs, and focus on shining light on ability, not disability. You can learn more by visiting our website, starability.org, or by contacting us. This past April, we offered a family forum on benefits and guardianship. Our presenter today, Idela Hernandez, provided an overview of benefits. But because benefits information is so complex, Idela also offered to do a deeper dive on benefits over a series of webinars. And we're very happy to have her here with us today. Idela is an employment and disability consultant at IAS, LLC. She is a human service professional who is committed to promoting meaningful changes in people's lives. Idela has over 20 years of experience in the field and holds a national certification in Social Security benefits work incentives advisor. She provides employment services and benefits work incentives advisement to individuals with disabilities and their families. So I'll turn it over now to Idela.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I bet that the four individuals, Karen, Dawn, Barbara, and Carol, all of you have someone with SSI that is older than 23. Is that correct? Can you make a little check or yes in the chat?
Hello? Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to be talking about, this is my contact information in case that you guys want to have any consultation with me in the future. Most of you have already met with me before. I do provide services to people that are connected with some programs like vocational rehabilitation, and also people that are under the Ticket to Work program. If they come to me under those programs, of course, the program pays for the services. However, if they are coming to me for private consultation, that has a fee for service. And that is my contact information. It is important that you see that I have a website. In my website, you guys can definitely, let me put it here. You can see how you can send me, hold on, let me go to there. You can set up an appointment. And at the end, so you can schedule an appointment to meet with me. You can also, if you need to send me documents that are confidential, you can use these links over here. One is to send pay stubs for those individuals that need to send me pay stubs. But for any other documentation that has confidential information, this is a secure link that I do pay monthly for this service. So your information doesn't go in an open email and the confidentiality is compromised. Okay, so this is my website, and you can always connect with me through the website. Okay, let me get it over here. Okay, so let's go to the agenda. We have a generous agenda today here. We're gonna talk about the earned and unearned income, assets limitation for the SSI, work incentives that apply for individuals with disabilities that are over the age of 22, and that is impairment-related work expenses, we call AWE for short, and also the Medicaid Protection Act, that is called 1619B provision. And we're also going to talk about the SSI monthly calculation, wages reporting, including the responsibilities to report, and also the best practice. And the last but not the least important is the work credits. How do we earn the work credits? And why it's so important to work, even though SSI is like a monthly calculation. It requires a lot of documentation involved when someone is working and have SSI. But it is worth it because at the end of the day, you worked, you earn the work credits, and that is transition for SSDI and Medicare when the time comes. Okay. Remember, if you have any questions during the whole process here, feel free to put in the chat, because we want to make sure that we address any questions that you have that is not specifically for your case, but we can respond in a general matter. Okay. So let's talk about earned and unearned income. You might see these terms in your letters from Social Security, and you might get confused about what it specifically means. And that's why I brought this to the table, because sometimes it's confusing. The unearned income is any money that is gifted to the individual, any money that individual receive from any other program. Some people receive cash assistance from children and families, or that's unearned income, and it has to be reported to Social Security. Or the person receive a big gift for his birthday, or for whatever reason, the family passed away and got an inheritance to the individual. That will affect the eligibility of SSI if the amount is over $2,000. So all that is unearned. The earned income, is what you earn by, by working. If the person is working and earn money, that's considered earned income. Okay, either one, earned income or unearned income, is very important to Social Security recipients to report those earnings to them. The monthly SSI payments might go up or down based on how much countable income a person receives in a given month. There's generally a 2-month long lag time between when the earnings are calculated and when the check will be impacted. For example, if we report in October $1,000 countable income, it could be based on unearned or earned income, whatever. The total countable amount is $1,000. We report that was earned or received in the month of October. That amount is going to impact the calculation for the following second month, means December. So whatever you got paid this month is okay, but this amount that you're reporting that you received or you earned this month is going to impact the monthly calculation for the check that you will receive from Social Security in December. Is that clear? Okay. So let's go to the next slide, and we're going to talk about assets limitation. As we have discussed in the past, many other presentations, And SSI is a cash payment that is intended only to supplement other income an individual might already have in order to meet minimum needs for food and shelter. So SSI is intended to supplement, not to cover food and shelter for the individual with disabilities, okay? Because the SSI program is means tested, so security considers how much a person has in both income and resources when they determine initially the eligibility for benefits. After the initial eligibility for SSI, when Social Security is established, they will continue evaluating the countable income and resources for every single recipient in a monthly basis. Like they might don't do it in a monthly basis because you don't see any letters coming to you, but then they might do it retroactively after few months. But definitely when they do this review, they will go back and do a monthly review, and they will determine if in that specific month that they reviewed, you had excessive assets. They will say, okay, you have an overpayment because 6 months ago we sent you the payment, the SSI check. However, at that point, that month, you had excessive assets and you're not eligible for that amount that month. So then you receive a letter saying you do have an overpayment that has to pay back. And that's why the overpayments happen, because they do these reviews not in a monthly basis, but they do it usually several months after the fact. Okay, so that's why it's important. If any changes happens in your assets, try not to keep in all your accounts combined, checking or savings or money market or whatever, no more than 2,000. In this sense is that why it is advised that you create the ABLE account, ABLE United account, because the ABLE United account is a protected savings account. It has through the IRS, it has a specific provision that it protects your assets, meaning any money that you have in the ABLE United account, up to 120,000, I believe, lifetime. That money is not going to be counted as asset, it's protected. So if you have a situation that the checking account or savings account, because you're adults, young adults, or you're adult with disabilities working and putting some money into the account, and you are afraid that at some point it's going to go over 2,000, my suggestion is to definitely create the ABLE United account to protect those assets and maintain the SSI eligibility. Okay. Any question on that? Please write it down. Let's go to the next slide. So now let's talk about the work incentives. The work incentives, one is impairment-related work expenses, and the other one is the 1619B Medicaid coverage provision. Okay. Let me take you to the red book. The red book. Okay, red book guide to work incentives. Okay. Let me know, guys, if you are able to see this document here. Lori?
Oh, yes, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So in this website that you can definitely, is here in my presentation, and you can click on it and get by yourself. So this red book talks about the work incentive, okay, impairment-related work incentive, and any other work incentive that are available for people with disabilities that are receive SSI, to kind of max out earnings with total amount that the person gets. Okay, so here you will be able to see, let me see what is new in this portal. What is new in 2023? Let me go to the English version. Okay. The red book is the book for the work incentives. Every single work incentive that you can think of for SSI and SSDI is there. But let me go and see if you can. Okay. Okay, so you see SSI only work incentives. That's on page 26. And all the examples of those work incentives are there. I'm going to just take you there really quick to have an 26. Okay. This earned income exclusion, that's for students that are under the age of 22. That's not what we need to do. Earned income. Oh no, this is okay. So the earned income exclusion means that there's $65 that they will deduct from the total amount that they count. But I want you to go and see. Hold on. Okay, here we have a section 1619B, and that talks about that you can receive supplemental security income cash payment even when you earn income. See, the money that you earn through work, and the net earnings from the self-employment. That's self-employment. I don't want to deal with self-employment here. Okay. If you're working and you're eligible under the section 1619B, you might receive a supplemental security income cash benefits up to 2 months while in a facility. Well, that's a lot of 1619B. The people can receive Medicaid even though they are working. This is specifically for the Medicaid while working. It's under section 1619B. The person will have to have Medicaid and SSI before they start working. And even though the amount that the person earns is over the threshold that will take away the SSI cash payment, Medicaid will continue. It will continue. The person just has to have to meet the criteria to be eligible for that. Okay. To qualify for that means the person will have to be eligible for SSI payment at least 1 month before the payment was reduced to 0. The individual will have to be eligible for SSI payments except for earnings. You still have a disability, you still meet any other eligibility rules, including the resources test. That means you're not going to have, you don't have more than $2,000 in the bank. And also you need Medicaid to work. So bottom line is the 1619B protects Medicaid. If you are SSI, an SSI recipient, and you're working and you go over the threshold that your SSI cash payment becomes 0, you are still eligible for the Medicaid. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you here. Okay, patients. Okay. Well, there's a lot of stuff there for the work incentives. And also I wanted to share with you another document here that I have. Let me see this one. Income reporting. Yeah, for credits. Okay, no. Well, the impairment related work expenses, let's go to the next slide. The purpose is to enable SSI recipients to cover some of the cost of expenses incurred as a result of their disability to support their work. For example, if someone has to use door-to-door transportation because the disability doesn't allow them to drive, that's considered an approved IWE, an approved impairment-related work expense. If someone has any medical expenses, co-payments, deductibles, or anything that Medicaid doesn't pay, that you pay out of pocket, then that's considered an airway. Something else is the job coach expenses and benefits advisement is also considered an airway because you need those advisements and that support to maintain employment. Some people have this level of support from VR or any other source that is paid by the government, but some people that don't have that connection of those programs available and they want to pay out of pocket, those expenses are also deductibles that you can write off from your total amount that you earn and is absolutely approved by Social Security. If you have a job coach, that also provides the benefits advisement, as I do with all my clients, some of them that are private, or whatever they pay monthly for those services is deductible. Okay, how that works. Deducting the cost of impairment related items and services from monthly gross wages decreases countable earned income and allows the SSI recipient to retain more in the SSI cash payment. It's a good incentive. The airway criteria. In order to be eligible for those impairment-related work expenses, so the expenses must be directly related to work. Individual must need the item or service for work due to severe physical or mental impairments. Costs must be paid by the individual, not reimbursable from any other sources. Expenses must be paid in a month in which the individual is working, and the expense must be reasonable. When we talk about expense must be reasonable, let's gonna put an example so you can understand better. I have clients that they cannot drive and they use paratransit. They apply for paratransit, they had a door-to-door transportation service. When they became, when they were approved, the paratransit or Litran, they provided a letter saying, okay, this is your fee for the service, $3 per ride or $5 per ride, whatever. So that means $10 a day, but round trip. That is the price that the government, the local county is putting into the door-to-door service. Okay, let's say that you don't want to use door-to-door because it's not reliable, doesn't get to the house on time, or the person has to wait to be picked up for 2 hours window, and that's too much anxiety level for whatever. It doesn't work for you, but you as a parent want to provide the ride to your son, is closer, and you do it, fine. You can also claim that transportation expense as an airway when you submit copy of the pay stubs, you also submit copy of the expenses. And how you're gonna get charged? You're gonna get charged the same transportation fee that paratransit has allocated. So that is called reasonable or comparable. Okay, so you're gonna charge your son or your daughter the same amount that paratransit will charge them for transportation. And you're gonna have one check at the end of the month. I always suggest to do it by the 25th. So you know the days that the person will be working and make the check for the whole month, not later than the 25th of the month. So you can clear that check. So deposit in your account and it's going to clear into the individual's account before the end of the month. Because that expense has to happen, has to be countable in the clear in the checking account before the end of the month. So we can claim it for that month. So the person monthly expense, let's say that he works, I don't know, 5 days a week and he has to pay $10 round trip each day. So that's 20 days a week, 20 days a month times 10, right? That's $200. So then you're gonna write a check, or your son is gonna write a check, or your daughter, to your name. And in the subject line is going to put there special transportation to work, October 2023, and that's $200 to your name. But it is a comparable price. It's the same price that paratransit or Litran will charge you. So that's called the reasonable expense has to be reasonable. That means according with what the county will charge. If you have any question on that, I can elaborate more at the end. But I think it's a clear understanding about what the reasonable price will be and how we can claim those expenses, okay? Other examples of impairment-related work expenses are listed here. It could be, as I already mentioned, transportation costs for travel to and from work, attendant care service. Some people have cerebral palsy and they need a care attendant to help with in the morning to do the the daily living activities and get dressed up and everything. So that is also, if you pay out of pocket, if it's not paid by Medicaid or it's not paid by mail waiver or anything like that, it's something that you pay out of pocket, you can claim that expense, okay? Any costs associated with service animals is also approved. Medical devices, if the person is working and needs the wheelchair to be fixed or to buy a new one that is not paid by anybody else, again, it has to be paid out of pocket. You can claim that expense as well. Let's say that some people buy, let's say, a van to modify it and to have, a modified van to drive it. That van that you buy can be actually claimed, but because it's a large amount, they can prorate it for 12 months and then get a portion of that amount every month. Okay, so you can claim that one while you're working and while you pay out of pocket. Private pay job coaching, medical deductibles and copayments, prescription drugs, diagnostic procedures, any of that is also accepted. Those expenses you can claim as expenses as airways, okay? Questions? Write it down. Okay, Medicaid protection for working SSI recipients. We already went over that, but I'm gonna read this. Medicaid coverage can continue while working even if earnings alone or combination. Let me move this. Okay, I'm gonna put it here for now. Medicaid coverage can continue while working, even if earnings alone or in combination with other income become too high for a supplemental security income cash payment. For individuals whose SSI stops due to excessive earnings, the continued Medicaid coverage is possible through a work incentive called Section 16B. Okay, hold on. The eligibility, I think we mentioned that already, but let me go back again. There's an eligibility requirements to qualify for 1619B. The person must still be determined disabled or blind. The person must meet all SSI eligibility requirements. And when they say all SSI eligibility requirements means the disability criteria has to be determined, and also not having assets exceeding $2,000. Okay. They don't count the earnings except for the amount of earnings. You have to meet the first two requirements, which is having the disability and also not having over $2,000 in assets. However, the income that the person is earning is different. It can be up to $37,379 in 2023, which is very generous. Most of our clients with developmental disabilities don't make that amount. Some might, but that's the threshold that you can use, you can earn and still be qualifying for the 1619B, and that means maintaining your Medicaid. The threshold amount varies from the state to state, and it's a measure that determines whether a person's earnings are high enough to replace SSI and the Medicaid benefits. Okay, so this is a great protection. A lot of people are afraid of going to work when they receive Medicaid because they think that if they reduce the check to zero, that also Medicaid is going to be suspended, and that's not the situation. Medicaid will continue unless you don't meet any of these criteria, okay? Okay. Let me breathe. I guess you have questions, and I encourage you to have your questions in the chat so we can go over that at the end. Now let's gonna go over the SSI calculation. Before we go to this calculation sheet that I have here, I'm going to show you what usually you see in the last page of any letters that you receive from Social Security when they are talking about the monthly calculation. And they might say, we are reducing your SSI amount this month because your other income increased. And then at the end of the fourth page or fifth page, you can find this kind of thing. And this is important. For example, they will say the maximum amount the SSI allows to pay in 2023 is $914. It's right there. But they are deducting $559.92, and they are counting that as total income that they count. Okay? So let's gonna go down to your income other than your SSI breakdown on the bottom. It says your income you receive in February, okay, of 2023 affects your payments for April. Remember what I discussed earlier, that any money that you report for this month that you earn this month is going to affect your calculation for the second following month. Here's the reason. You are reporting in February, but this report that you said that you earned $1,204.85 in February is going to affect the calculation for the check that you're going to get in April. Okay, so usually they don't count $20, and that's by law. And also by law, they don't count $65. Okay, so it's total of $85 that they don't count. And then they will divide this by 2, this remaining balance by 2. And they will say, okay, wages that we count is only $559.92 out of 1204. So that's the amount that they will deduct from the 914, saying, okay, your monthly SSI payment for the month of April then will be $354. If you see there, I don't see any airways, okay? But if you report the airways also will be here before dividing it by 2. And they will also not count the amount that you claim in airways against the earnings amount, giving you more money at the end of the day, okay? So that's what you always see in the last page of the letters that you receive from Social Security. And that's an example that I put there for you to see. Let's open this SSI calculation sheet. And this is a form that I create to help understand the calculations. It's opening. Mhm. It didn't open. Let me try again. Well, yeah, you got it. Okay, can you see the form here?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Okay, so let's say that this individual in March earned $1,000, right? And of course, by law, there's a $20 that they don't count, then $65 that they don't count. But this person had a impairment related work expenses for $250. So that reduced the remainder amount. So that amount is divided by 2. And instead of counting the total amount or even the 915, they are only counting $332.50. And that is what they are taking away from the total SSI amount. If you see here, this individual is receiving the reduced SSI amount, okay? And whatever the person earned in March, 1,000 is affecting the SSI amount for the month of May. March, April, May. 2 months later, the amount is going to be affected. So if we had someone that has the full amount of SSI, okay, $914, then and doesn't have any expenses, the calculation says that in May, that person will get 456 instead of 914. Why? Because they made the monthly calculation. They will check if you have exceeding assets in your bank account, and they will say, okay, that part is clear. The person doesn't have over $2,000 in the account. Let's move on to how much the person earned. The person earned 1,000 and then goes through the all formula here. They take away 20, take away 65, then divide it by 2. And this is the countable earned amount, okay? This countable is what they will take away from 914. Okay, so the estimated SSI payment for May will be $456.50. And as you see, working always gives you more. For example, with all this, the person earned 1,000 plus whatever he's receiving on SSI payment totals 1,456 a month. Even though you have SSI and you're earning, you're still getting some SSI amount. And the bottom line is that you are working and you're earning credits, and it's a good thing. So let's go to the full amount of SSI, but with IAS. Okay, this person earned 1,000. The deduction of 20, 65, but this person has impairment related work expenses. Look, the person earned 1,000 plus 581.50 estimated SSI amount because all these deductions that happens here. Okay, so it's always worth to work receiving SSI. So that's basically how I do the SSI calculation, and I always encourage my clients to take advantage of this work incentive, the impairment related work expense. Claim the expenses that you have that are claimable, because that helps to get more money here. Okay, so I'm closing this and we will continue. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. Now, we're going to talk about wage reporting. How do we report wages? There's several ways to report wages, and I'm going to have a little video here for you guys to watch. It's about 3 minutes. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Security income, SSI, recipient, or Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, beneficiary, it's important to report your wages to Social Security. Timely reporting of wages helps you receive the correct payment amount and avoid overpayments and underpayments. We have several automated or electronic options for wage reporting. The toll-free SSI telephone wage reporting system, the SSA mobile wage reporting application that you can download on Apple or Android mobile devices, and the wage reporting option in your personal My Social Security account. These options can save you time and help you report important wage information to us without the need to call, visit, or write your local Social Security office. Only certain individuals can report monthly wages using these options, and one option may be better for you to use than another, depending on your situation. You can report wages if you are working and receiving SSI or SSDI, the working spouse or parent of a person receiving SSI if you live with the person, the representative payee for one or more people receiving SSDI or SSI, or the sponsor of a person receiving SSI. Institutional and organizational representative payees should continue to report wages via mail, fax, or Dropbox. What are the requirements for reporting earnings when you are working and receiving benefits? SSI recipients and SSDI beneficiaries should contact SSA if there are changes in work activities. SSI recipients should report wages by the 6th day of each month and can only report wages for the prior month. Wages reported after the 6th day of each month might not be reflected accurately. SSDI beneficiaries may report at any time, up to 24 prior months. To get started, contact your local Social Security office to see which option is best for you. If automated wage reporting is an option for you, the office will provide you with instructions for how to report wages using your preferred method. If you have additional questions, please contact us toll-free at 1-800-772-1213.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna put another page here that is gonna be talking about what are the things that we have to report. For supplemental security income recipients, we have to report any changes, not just the wages, but also any changes in your wages when you stop working. And this is something that happens very often. People stop working, right? But they don't report to Social Security that they are not working anymore. What Social Security will do is continue using estimated values from the previous months that you're working. They will say, okay, they're not reporting, but they are working because they haven't reported that they stopped working. So they will continue sending you a reduced amount, like if you were working, but in fact, the person stopped working 3 months ago, but they didn't notify to Social Security. And they are continue using estimated values from the previous months of earnings, and that is against you. So it is important to document any changes when you start working and when you stop working, okay? If anybody moves out of the household or moves into the household, you get a new baby in the family household, you get an elderly person coming to live with you. Those are really important factors, important changes that have to be reported. Okay. These documents are also in my presentation that you can read over later, but definitely you need to report any jobs, when you start working, how much you get paid, how often you get paid, when work stops, changes to your amount of pay. That's another thing. Let's say that they are making the calculations based on $13 an hour, but now you're making 16, so you're earning more. So if you're not reporting and they are making calculations based on less money, eventually they will catch up and say, oh, you have an overpayment. And then you have to pay back what they pay you in addition, in excess. You need to submit pay stubs. You need to submit a copy of if someone is self-employed, they don't have to do this monthly, but they will have to submit copy of the income tax return as soon as they do it for the following year. Okay, so where to report? To the local Social Security office, and their phone numbers here. Something that is important for you to understand is that any of the methods that it is provided to the beneficiaries to report don't include a method of reporting invoice. And when someone is reporting expenses, those kind of reports have to be submitted together with the pay stubs, okay? So they can see that you had earnings, but you also had airways. And that has to be submitted together. But any of the options that they give you, the phone, even going through my SSA, my SSA.gov account, or using the mobile app, neither of them has the option to submit the expenses. And that's why I always recommend to prepare the whole report of wages separately and mail it to Social Security. And I do have a sample of those reports. This is what I do in my practice. Let me put it here for you to look at it. Okay. Okay, this is, let's see how I can enlarge this a little bit. Okay, this is how I do it for my private pay clients. or any clients that I do have on the any programs, I do, first of all, the SSI calculation sheet. And this person, for example, this is a real one, okay? I just erase the names and Social Security number for protection. In March, this person earned $1,844. Has, as you see, the $20 and the $65 deduction. This person had impairment-related work expenses for $312, making a reminder of $1,447 after taking away all this. Divided by 2 is $723. This person received the full amount of SSI, and even he earned $1,800 a month. He is still going to be receiving 2 months later $190 on SSI because we use all these incentives. You see, you might think that if you earn $1,844 that you're not going to get any money on SSI, right? But yeah, he gets something, $190. Okay, so in addition to the calculation sheet, we also have a wages cover sheet. This is the wage cover sheet for the month of March. And these are the days the person earned checks. And we put here the day that the check was paid. So that paycheck is paid on the 2nd. And this is the amount, gross amount. The 9th, gross amount, all that. And then the extra weeks, nothing. So totaling $1,844.57 in gross amount. Then we add copies of the pay stubs, okay? Pay stubs here, 1, 2, 3, 4 pay stubs, 5 pay stubs. The month had 5 payments. Then we have the impairment-related work expense request. Here, we put the period that the person worked was March, and we have the person had a check for $150 for job coaching and also benefits work incentive advisement and also transportation expense for work. And the diagnosis is the same. That was $162 a month. Total $312 on impairment-related work expenses. In addition to this cover sheet, then we also put the receipts. And this is employment services with copy of a clear check. And this is copy of a clear check for transportation. And with that, then we have a complete wage report, including all the necessary documentation to report expenses. And okay, this is what I do in my practice. And the person submit that via regular mail. Okay, so that is what I consider best practice. This is in every letters that you guys receive, you also have your reporting responsibilities, and they tell you again, you need to report when you start working, when you stop working, if your wages increase or decrease, if your bank account balance goes over 2,000, if anyone moves into the household or moves out, or if you got married. All these are the things that they tell you in every single letter about the wage reporting responsibilities, okay? Sometimes we don't read through the whole letter because it's too much. And that's why if you don't report, they can stop your check. And they say, well, we send you letters every month saying that it's your responsibility to report. If you're not reporting, they can stop the Social Security check with that. Yeah, for that. Okay. I already did this with you guys. I show all that. Work credits. Okay. Any questions about wages reporting, any questions about how to do the calculations, and how to report all that, you can write a note in the chat there, okay? Now, we're going to talk about the work credits. You might be thinking, there's so much work to do for someone that is receiving SSI and do all this paperwork every month to keep the benefits in order. It's a lot of work, yes, but it's worth it because when the person works, the person earns work credits. And when you earn work credits, eventually you will be able to get retired, and you can also get disability benefits on SSDI. SSDI is Social Security Disability Insurance, which is the insurance that we pay towards when we are working. So I just want to share with you how we earn credits, because a lot of people get confused with that, and it's really important. I'm going to open this, the work credits. I have it here, the work credits, yeah. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this is, in 2023, when someone earns 1640, that means you earn 1 credit. The maximum amount of credits that we can earn in a year is 4. So if anybody earns 6,560 in the whole year, then that person earned the 4 credits. And that is a great thing for our adults with disabilities, because the more credits that the person earns, more eligibility for SSDI. Okay, so I'm going to get that out of here, and I'm going to put another thing that I do have. Okay. Okay. This is a handout from Social Security that talks about how you can earn credits. And if the person is, okay, let me see. Let me see. If the person is under the age of 24, they will need 1.5 years of credit. That means 6 credits in the 3 year prior to getting the disability. So this is something that I discussed in the previous presentation, because that was for young adults before the age of 23. Someone like this group that is over the age of 24, if the person is 24 to 30 years old, they will need 6 credits from up to 24 plus half of the time between 21 and the time you plan to begin disability. That means if you have 6 credits by the age of 24 and you are 30 now, count 2 more credits every year. So if the person is 30, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That's 6 times. So that means 12 credits plus 24. That's 36 credits. So the person will need 36 credits to actually be eligible for disability benefits, okay? So this is how they count it. Okay, from 31 to 42, the person will need 20 credits. That's 5 years of work. If the person is 44 years old, will need 22 credits, and that is 5.5 years of work. So that is how it works. I hope that it's not that confusing. Bottom line is you can only do 4 credits per year. And this is the table that they have for 31 to 42. It's 20 credits. It's no 36, is how they say. Okay. So it's not bad. So it's good to have the credits, because then you will be able to get SSDI. Okay. When you get SSDI, you also get Medicare. And sometimes you can get Medicare and continue receiving Medicaid. And then Medicaid will pay for the Medicare premium. Yeah. So let's go to the next slide. Questions. We have excellent half an hour for questions.
So there were a couple of questions that were submitted, Idella.
Okay.
So going back to the transportation expenses you discussed with Airway,
Mhm.
Carol asked, for special transportation, would an Uber expense be okay, or do we need to use a government fee for transportation for person to travel to work?
That's a good question, because even though the price for Uber is horrible, it's really much bigger, it is acceptable so far. They haven't put a no on that yet. So I do have clients that they use Uber and Lyft, and it's being accepted.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then Adrian asked about how to enroll in the 1619B.
Okay. In order to enroll in the 1619B, once you, let's say the Social Security sends you a letter saying because you're not eligible for SSI cash payment, then the Medicaid might be also terminated. That is an illusion, because in reality, the 1619B will be protecting the Medicaid. What you have to do is to open an account with My Access, Department of Children and Families, the same account that you go to apply for food stamps, and also to do the home and community-based services. The same account is called My Access Florida. Then you have to create an account there and apply for Medicaid. When you apply for Medicaid there's several questions in the process that will ask you if you had Medicaid before, if your SSI stopped, and those are the key questions for them to activate your Medicaid on the 1619B.
Great,
More
thank you.
questions on that?
Well, one person, okay, so Karen is asking if work payments weren't submitted timely, do they just submit them anyway?
Yes, it's better to submit the wages report, even though it's a little late or whatever. It's better to submit it, because at some point they will catch up and get whatever needs to be corrected in the recalculations, and then correct any amount.
And I think if we have additional questions, if you'd like to unmute yourself to ask, please feel free. I do know Karen had asked also with one of the documents you pulled up, I believe it was your Word worksheet, if you could expand it. I'm not sure if you'd be able to bring that back up to kind of walk through that again.
Which sheets?
The Word document, that's a worksheet.
Okay, about the wages report?
Karen?
Or this?
It was just, you had a document up there, but like it wasn't expanded enough so that we couldn't read the whole thing. You were talking, but I was trying to read along with it, so the document would cut off the sentences. I think it was the wages one. let's see.
Let me see.
Yeah. So if you could expand that one just so that we could see all the words on it, that's all.
Hold on. By any chance, was the example of my wages report?
I believe so.
This one?
No, it was more the
The
one that
Word document, maybe it was the
yeah.
other one that,
it was in writing from it was from the maybe the red book or whatever.
Oh, the red book.
I mean, it wasn't something that you had written
Okay.
or typed up, you know, your calculation sheets. It was like written from Social Security, I think.
This one?
Well, it was down down further, it was in small print. And you see how yours isn't taking up the whole, oh, I don't know if you can see it, but it's not taking up the whole page here. So it's cut off at the sides. If you expand the whole document, this one you can see, but when it's in small writing, it doesn't go. But this isn't it.
I
No.
think it might have actually been the first one you brought up, the Word document supplemental security income reporting.
Okay. The work credits. This one? No. I don't think so.
No, before that.
That was the work credits. That
I
should-
think it was on the, let's see here. It might have been on the wage reporting best practice side.
Yes.
Hold on, let me see. Let me go back here. This one. No. Oh, that's the video.
But there is a document about the video. I think it was that one. SSI reporting handout.
Okay. Hold on, I'm opening it.
Okay.
Fine again. That's reporting handout. That's it's taking a while. No, it says something went wrong. Let me try again. No. It's not opening.
I think I might have been able to pull it up here. Would you like me to share my screen,
No,
Idella?
it's not opening. Okay, try to do that. I'm
Okay.
gonna stop sharing.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Is this the one that you were looking for?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Was there a particular section that you wanted Idella to go through in a little more detail?
No,
or-
I just sometimes when she's talking and then I want to refer back, I take a picture of it you know, so I can look at it later. And it just was only like 3/4 of that. So sentences were cut off before when it wasn't expanded.
When you,
Okay.
when
Just
you
hold
get
that
the,
for a second and I'll take a picture. If you can push it up so we can see the whole thing. There you go. Thank you.
when you get the PowerPoint, you can click on that link.
I'm sorry.
When you get a copy of the PowerPoint that we have here, no, because I believe Lori is gonna send a copy. You can click in the link that says SSI reporting handouts. You click in there and you're gonna get the whole document.
Okay. Well, I was just doing it quickly.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
fine.
get to take the picture though. Can you go back real quick, Lori, one more
Oh,
time?
sure.
Thanks,
Just
sorry.
one moment here.
I
please.
was, it flipped to your faces when you start talking, so.
Oh, okay. Here you go.
All right, perfect. Thanks. Let me just click that real fast and then, thanks. We'll look at the document later, but that was just for a quick one. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Well, feel free to ask any questions. We have time, and I'm glad that you guys came on board for this presentation because it's very confusing and SSI has a lot of information to be aware of.
Can I chime in? I put stuff in chat, but you guys were busy. Would speech therapy be considered IRWE fee?
Yeah,
Okay.
anything that is medical related or anything that will help the individual to get better skills to work, and you pay out of pocket, that is an airway.
Okay, thanks. And then I had a question on the ABLE account.
Okay.
So up north, if we start an ABLE account, but then we move to Florida, will that transfer or no, we have to have a separate account for Florida?
I believe that I'm not the expert on Able United, but I know, Lori, you have an attorney, right? That
Oh,
presented.
Right, who spoke about ABLE accounts. And we do have some information about ABLE accounts because we did have a webinar on that. So Carol, if you'd like, I'd be happy to send you that.
I
But
would appreciate it.
definitely you will have to contact the Able United and pretty much transfer the one from the other state to the United in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
because they work by state.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Okay.
Lori, if you wouldn't mind sending me the same information that for the ABLE account here.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that concludes our presentation today. Thank you so much. Thank you to STARability, to Lori for the collaboration between both agencies and get this information out to the community.
Yes,
Thank you.
thanks so much, Idella, for presenting today. I do want to mention that we do have a couple of other webinars as part of this series that are coming up. The next one will be on Social Security disability insurance. And then we also have one on SSI and SSDI for concurrent beneficiaries. Both those will take place in 2024. And we hope that you'll join us for those. I'll be sending out an email in the next few days, which will include information on those webinars and a link to today's presentation. And then we'll also have a survey link. So if you could take a few minutes to provide your feedback, we would greatly appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you again for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Idella.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.